Well, okay, so I'm back. I'm gonna do this real quick. Matchity match. I swear the wide shot just looks way darker than than the close up, man. I also hope that everything's in focus, bro. Like literally, is been for this is I think the fifth podcast that I'm actually putting out. Anyways, welcome back to Finding Gratitude. I am here. I'm your host for today, Miguel Martin. Now, I am here by myself, not like last week's one where I did have a guest last week, Quade, and hoping to have more guests as the time goes along. Like I know there's a few mates of mine already that are so down to do a potty. There's some in Queensland. Yeah, there's some in Queensland. I guess there's some more others as well in Sydney, New South Wales. I just need to book in the time, I guess, with everyone. So I guess that's up to me to become more organized. I guess organization skills definitely. Man, this week has been pretty crazy. There's been a lot of things where synchronicity has taken its place, and it's just been like, wow, like when I was much younger, I didn't really believe in synchronicity or, I mean, things happened and it was like, oh, things are happening for a reason, like they're meant to happen, or, someone like God, I guess, is, putting this thing in place for it to happen. And then more and more things started to happen, which felt like they were meant to happen, and it just became like synchronicity. I guess I started to, look up the word for it because I guess coincidence is definitely a word that you can think of, but sometimes it's good to give it a bit more meaning to than just coincidence, man. Because anything can just be coincidence. So that's why I guess the word whole synchronicity came about. Now, if you don't know what synchronicity is, you should probably Google it. But essentially, it's just when things happened that are meant to happen. Like sometimes we think it's random, sometimes we think they're meant to happen, but synchronicity at its best, man. So last week, um, my mate rings me on like Sunday, and he tells me that on Saturday he was out in the golf course, was playing some golf, and he was playing by himself. My mate Goran, by the way, just to give it more, I guess, context. I don't know. And yeah, so he was playing by himself, and in front of him there was another dude, and I guess he was nice enough to be like, "Hey, mate, do you maybe want to play together since we're both by ourselves? Maybe try to make it a bit more fun." The dude was okay. Let's do it. They started talking, and they're like, oh shit, sorry, man, this is gonna trip me out if this is not. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but yeah. So they started talking. They started catching up, I guess, and then the other person, his name is Benji, and wow. So he started to open up, and started to tell Goran why he was there, and pretty much everything. One thing leads to the other. He's from Bosnia. He was living in Germany, and then he was living in Australia because his parents were, or his mum was born in Australia, but backgrounds are Bosnian. And my friend Goran is also Bosnian, so since then it was just like, oh shit. But essentially, man, this is the crazy. This is how it just gets fucking intense. Well, not intense, but it just gets crazy. So so Benji tells my mate Goran that pretty much, look, the main reason why he's playing there by himself is because he just received a call from his doctor, literally like maybe an hour or two before, and he was expecting good news, and he didn't receive any good news, man. So I think in June, July, August, I'm gonna get it wrong. I will get Benji in a podcast, hopefully sometime soon, so he can pretty much explain all this much better. But I thought I'll bring it up anyway because, bruh, like synchronicity at its best, putting shit out to the universe and then things just happen. It's like, how? How? But anyway, so like I was saying, so Benji tells my mate Goran that, he got a call from his doctor. He was expecting the best news. He got the total opposite. So in June, July, he got diagnosed with stage 4 B cell lymphoma. I'm not 100% sure if it's just B cell. There might be a few more words in between. But essentially, it's cancer to the blood. Stage 4, he got 6 cycles of of chemotherapy, and he ended it in November. And then at 6 weeks after that, which was like first 2 weeks of January, he went for his PET scan. PET scan, if for the people that don't know, is a scan that you go to the hospital. They inject you with some radioactive sugar. I'm not exactly sure on on the chemical that it uses, but essentially is somewhat of a radioactive sugar that they inject you to it, and then all the cancer cells or all the cancerous parts in your body would light up when they do a PET scan. A PET scan is essentially a full body scan, and when they do the scan, the radioactive sugar or whatever it may be, or diluted whatever that they give you, it's meant to brighten up the spots that are cancerous. So he went for one of those, and yeah, he got his results on Friday. No, on Friday I think he was, man. Sorry, I think it was Friday that they met, and bro, like he got bad news. Like he thought that his cancer was going to be reduced and hopefully he was going to get put into remission, and he was so keen on flying out. Now his parents are in Germany, I believe, and his girlfriend is in Europe as well. I'm not 100% sure which country in Europe she is, but he's been missing them, especially going through, chemotherapy and all this stuff. Like he's been missing his family. He's missing his brother as well, who that's in Germany, which is a bit younger than him. And he wanted to go back, but man, like he opened up to Goran, and Goran was just like, "Wow, I can't believe you've got B cell lymphoma. It's also stage 4. What's your age?" He's 24. So Goran's like, "Hey, look, I've got a mate, Miguel. He's pretty much essentially gone through similar stuff that you're going through, I guess, because he did get stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he was also 24 when he got it. So look, he might be able to help you in any way, man. It just if even if it's just someone to talk to, bro." So then Saturday or Sunday, Goran messages me and he's like, "Hey, look, I've met this Benji dude. Would you mind reaching out to him?" And I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like I told Goran, man, I'm like, I can't believe, right, that you're telling me that you've met this person out of nowhere. Like he just was out playing golf. If he went to play golf 5 to 10 minutes later, they would have not met. Crazy shit. But anyway, so they met. Goran passed me his details. I reached out to Benji, I think on Sunday as well, and I was like, "Hey, look, Goran has told me all this. Let's meet up." And he's like, "Yeah, sure thing. When do you want to meet up?" And I'm like, "Look, tomorrow's Monday. I got nothing on. This is last week. So let's just fucking do it." And then he's like, "Sure thing. Let's do it." So I met with him on Monday, and holy shit, bro! I chatted to him for like 3 to 4 hours, and wow, I just can't believe how the universe or how everything just works. Because at the beginning of this podcast, 5 weeks ago now, first week of Jan, I put it out there, finding gratitude, came up with a name real quick, and I'm like, look, I've obviously experienced a lot of shit, and I guess the best way to, to I wouldn't say to experience it, but the best way to make the most out of your experience is finding something that you're thankful for during that experience, even though in your terms, subjectively, it may seem like a bad experience, or it may seem like a hard experience, or in your mind it could be just seem as a negative thing. If you can just find if we can just find gratitude towards it, your perception of the experience will change, right? And then I also started this whole podcast sharing my experiences, especially going through cancer and dealing with stage 4 cancer, going through chemotherapy, radiotherapy, immunotherapy, and essentially getting also a stem cell transplant. So I put it out there. I put my podcast out there. I put my video podcast out there. Hoping that my experiences and me sharing that knowledge is going to go help someone out there. And then 4 weeks later, Goran is messaging me, telling me that he's found someone that is literally experienced the same thing I was experiencing back in 6 years ago now. Fuck, bro. It's literally 6 years ago when I first got diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, man, like, fuck. Synchronicity at its finest. I don't know if I just I feel like I am. I hate saying this because I don't want people to think, that I'm like all that or whatever. But I feel like sometimes, most of the time, man, I'm just so in tune with my body, and at the same time, I'm so in tune with this whole universe and all these vibrations and all these energies that are being put out there. And that, when I think and I speak of something, I'm just attracting that, and it comes my way. And then within a few weeks, it's fucking happening, man. Holy shit, but fuck. So, like I was saying, man, synchronicity is fucking a thing. It happens all the time. And with me, it's happening more and more, bro. Like, even the other day when I bought that, the t-shirt which had, that had this print of all psilocybin, and I took a photo, and I'm just like, fuck, I feel so G just wearing this shirt. I feel like going out. And then 3 hours later, after me getting that shirt, I went to my mate's house just trying to have a chilled one. And then next thing I know, I'm fucking going out to Vic at the Park. And I don't know, man. Somehow I've just become so in tune with everything that I put something out to the universe and just happens. What? Like, how is this shit going on, man? I have no idea. But yeah, so anyway, on the Monday, I met with Benji, and holy shit, bro. Like, I just felt fucking amazing. I know this is going to be a lot about me, but I just felt so good meeting with Benji, him telling me his story, me telling him my story, telling him how I was feeling like, during the first 6 months of me getting cancer and going through chemotherapy and the shit that I was dealing with mentally. And then him being able to relate to me as I was telling him what I was going through. And then I could just see it in his face, bro. And then he was just so happy and so content about that he had found someone, bro. That he had found someone that he can talk to and just be open about shit, and just knowing that someone's gonna be that I am that someone that can relate to him. Because he's like, yeah, the doctors will tell you this thing, this is how you're gonna feel, this is how you're gonna do it, this is how it's gonna happen, this and that. But essentially they're just doctors on the field, right? They have not experienced they haven't experienced the chemotherapy. They don't know what it feels like to go through it. They don't know, you know, how your body's going to react to it. Like, they can only tell you from what they've read and from other people, but from personal experiences, they cannot help you in that time. And then he even tells me, he tells his girlfriend everything, and his friends as well. They're all overseas, but at the same time, they may seem like, oh yeah, I know what you're going through, but essentially they don't, bro. And man, just speaking to this dude, it just made me feel so good. It just made me feel like what I'm doing in this podcast, and me seeing him, is it's actually something I actually want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I want to help people, and I guess this is a bit selfish of me, but by me helping other people helps me feel better about myself. And I'm sure there's heaps of people out there that are just the same. And man, I don't know if it's a bad thing. I really don't know. I don't think it is a bad thing, because at the end of the day, I'm helping other people, which is making me happy, which is helping me as well. But I don't think it's a bad thing. But holy shit, man. And just from that, like, just knowing that, because like, I remember being 24, man. I remember being 24, being told that, you've got cancer. Shit, it's stage 4 as well, so it's pretty deadly. We're going to, this is coming from the doctors. We're going to try, the best thing that we can do. We're going to try our best to get rid of this cancer and get you into a healthy state. But, like, no matter what we experience on this earth, unless we have a near-death experience, we don't know how we are, like, mentally, physically, or whatever, like, well, essentially mentally and physically, how we are going to react when we're told that you've got cancer and you may die, in the X amount of time, or what you've got, it's really, really bad, and you've got a potential dying. We're gonna give you, things which essentially would be the chemotherapy to try to put you back in a into a healthy state. But yeah, there might be an 80% chance that it may work, but there's still a 20% chance that it may not work. And just receiving that information, and especially if you've never gone through a near death experience, that shit's hard, bro. Especially when you're young, man, and you're just like, fuck, I can't believe this is happening to me. I know personally to me, and I did share this with Benji, like what what hurt me the most during those times was me thinking about my loved ones and how they're gonna feel if I was to die. And I relay that to Benji, and then he's like, oh, man, I can't wait to have Benji in here, man, and he can tell you the story as well. But he was the same. He's got his mom, he's got his younger brother, who I think is 21, who he loves extremely. He's got a girlfriend who now I think they've been together for 2 years, who he loves extremely. And thinking that he may die and thinking about how his family is going to be hurt if he actually dies, and me telling him that that's how I felt, and him being able to relate to it. Oh man, it just made me feel so happy because, man, I've been through it, and I know you're experiencing through it, and you're not the only one. So I'm here to help you, essentially. And if you ever go through those experiences, just know that it's okay. Like I've gone through them as well, and I go through it. I go through this shit all the time. I never speak about it. Maybe I should. I should probably see a psychologist. I definitely should. I have days, I have nights that I can't sleep because all I think about is what's gonna happen if I get cancer again, and this time I die, and the amount of pain I am going to bring to my loved ones, like my mom, my dad, my sister, my close friends. It's just too much. It's too much. It just keeps me up at night. And I remember, man, I remember being, I think when I relapsed, or even, I can't remember, man, but I remember being like 26, 27 or whatever, having relapse. And, I try to call Beyond Blue, telling them that I feel sad. Like I legit feel sad. It's 3 in the morning. I can't sleep. All I do is cry because I feel extremely upset, and I need help, man. I need help talking to someone. And it kind of sucked, but they only accept people under 25. So I was like, shit. I felt even left. Like I just felt even worse because I'm like, I'm looking for help. I try to find help, and I could have, searched for more. I could have gone on Facebook, try to see, other groups and whatnot of people experiencing similar to me. But I didn't. I just rang Beyond Blue. They said you have to be younger than 25. And I was just like, shit, I have no support. And man, like, how many people that are roughly my age or that are roughly between 20 to 30 that have been told that are similar to, our, like, I guess, the way we think, the way we are, comparing me to Benji, and thinking that they're all alone, man, thinking that their thoughts are their own thoughts and no one else has experienced to it. But look, here I am, he's Benji. We've all gone through this shit. We all have these type of thoughts, and it's fucked, man. It's fucked. I'm not here to tell you, yeah, those thoughts are going away. I'm not here to tell you, yeah, no, that was just, that was only then. Now it's all fucking sunshine and whatever now. No, it's not like that, bro. I don't even have, I'm in remission now and I'm still having these thoughts. But just knowing that someone is there, that you can message, that you can speak to, that you can give them a call, man, I would have loved that. If I was to go back in time and I was 24, first diagnosed, if I knew that there was someone out there that I can talk to, I reckon things would be a little bit easier. A little bit easier. I also taught him about the cannabis, the THC oil, the full spectrum oil that I was on from the beginning of my journey, going through cancer, I guess, until the end, which is It's still ongoing. So I told him, about the oils that I've been taking. I told him about the edibles that I was taking. I was, telling him about all the cannabis flower that I was actually vaping, and they were helping me deal with the effects of chemotherapy, because it definitely did, man. Like, yeah, as well at the same time, you know, there's tons of cannabinoids inside the THC plant and inside of the cannabis flower in general that is high in it's like anti-cancerous, it's anti-inflammatory. It's just so good for our body when we're trying to fight cancer, let's say, or any sort of illness, man. So I, told him about it. He's interested in it. He's like, look, if it worked for you, then it's gonna work for me, because obviously you've experienced through it. And I explained to him that I was taking the oils and it was helping me to put my mental state in a better state. So instead of being all negative, get it into more of a spacey, more of a clean, more of a happy type of minded kind of person. Just change the perspective of hating my life to my life is good. And then also utilizing the oils to help me the effects, or to help me balance the effect of chemotherapy, which is like feeling nauseous, right? Fucking, they used to give me anti-nauseous tablets at hospital, right? I'll take two, and then I'll be like, I still feel nauseous. Can I take more? They'll be like, no, you can only take X amount per fucking 4 hours. That didn't really take effect, but that's not even the only thing that you get. You get fucking migraines, you get headaches, you feel like throwing up. Your smells and your senses are so heightened that you smell something weird, you want to throw up. Even looking at your food, you smell it, it smells off, you want to throw up. Oh man, you feel like you've been run over a bus. But like going through the hardest days when I was getting chemotherapy, even post chemo, man, like 3-4 days after receiving the chemo, and you just feel like you've been run over a bus. You don't want to get out of your bed. All you want to do is lie down and just fucking be sad. Bro, I'll have like 5 drops within an hour, pass out. I'll be passed out for 6 hours, wake up and be like, oh, actually, I don't feel that bad, because I've slept through most of the day and I've been sleeping. And obviously, while you're sleeping, you're resting, you're recovering. You're not essentially feeling those feelings that come from receiving chemotherapy. So, um, yes, but going back to what Benji was saying, so he received his call on Friday, thinking that he was gonna be, in remission, because he also had a PET scan halfway through the chemotherapy, and he came back showing that all his lymph nodes, or every part of his body that was showing a lot of cancerous cells, were being reduced. Let's say that at the beginning, when he first had his PET scan, he had 40, little dots, or 40 places within the body that had cancerous cells, and then halfway through the chemo he had about 6, and then at the end of the chemotherapy, so now we're coming to January, so like a couple weeks ago, instead of having 0 or 40, which was the beginning, or which was at the start, he had like 60. So it had more, like he had more spots, and well, even more spots than when he actually first got it. Now, he is a professional soccer player. He was telling me about his journey. It began when he hurt his hamstring. He was off for 6 weeks, I think. 4 weeks were up. His hamstring wasn't healing. He was starting to get testicle pains, and he went to the doctors, and the doctor was like, "Holy shit, we should probably get a scan." And then one thing to the next, he had a PET scan, and he came back that he had, like I said, I think it's B cell Hodgkin's lymphoma. And but yeah, man, he was devastated after hearing that everything had come back, and he had even more spots than before. He was thinking about flying out on the Tuesday. I saw him on Monday. He was thinking already buying his ticket back to Germany. He was ready to fuck off, but obviously he can't leave now because his cancer has come back. He's already spoken to his doctor, so they're gonna try to do salvage chemo. But before that, he's gonna get, I think, ICE. ICE is the name of the chemotherapy that they give you. ICE. It all stands for specific words that they give you. I think over three days, and yeah, I still need to catch up with him though and find out exactly how it's gonna be. But for when he's gonna start his chemo again. I would be helping him out with some oil, and then just being in touch with him to find out how he's going and how he's maintaining, and maybe he needs to up his dosage and find out more and more about it. But man, I feel so good that I am here now, that I'm here. That one, I can help him with stuff that I was taking, and I guess I'll helping more as well, because yeah, one thing is to take substances, but at the same time, but also there's the mental state, man. There's not the mental barriers, but the way that we think because of whatever's happening to us, and it's just perception, bro. As soon as we can change our perception and see things different, everything changes, and I'm definitely gonna be able to help him with that. But because of all that, bro, and amazing how I felt. And then I shared it with my sister, and then my sister was like, "Holy shit, you know what? Maybe you should start a support group." So now here I am. I've been thinking about this, bro. I've literally been thinking about this the past couple days, maybe a week now. Starting a support group with people that are going through cancer, that are post, treatment, receiving treatment, or just people that are going through the same shit, bro, that we went to, because it put it put things into perspective, man, to me. When Benji, the way that Benji was looking at me when I was telling him how I felt when I was going through cancer, and just seeing him knowing that I know what he's going through, was just like, fuck, like me and him hold a special connection, because we have experienced something that majority of the people haven't. And by knowing that there's someone out there, it makes me feel good, right? And by Benji now knowing that I'm here for him, he he was telling me, man, like, he was very down before seeing me. And after seeing me, he was just like, it was like fire was sparked within himself, man. It was like the faith came back. Hope was coming back. Because if he's seeing me, what I've gone through, he's seeing hope in me. Because if I've gone through it and look at me now, then he can go through it and he'll be okay within a few years or in a few months. And yeah, so now I'm like, fuck, bro, like a support group, helping other people that are similar to me, that are open minded, that are going through fucking the same shit. I reckon my work and our work collectively can be so beneficial. And I'm not just thinking about me anymore, I'm thinking about the people that are going through this shit, man. And you know what? Personally, not personally, but I guess within the groups that I know, there's two other people that are between the age of 25 and 30, or I think so, 25 and 30, that are receiving chemotherapy right now. That's two more people. So, man, and just think about how many more people are out there. Because me thinking now, like every time I had to go to the hospital to get the chemotherapy as an outpatient, there's no support. Like there's no person going around asking how you're going. Like, yeah, there might be, physical things, because, we're getting chemotherapy, and, the doctor's checking your weight, the doctor's checking your cells, the doctor's checking this, and that. But who's checking your mental state? Do you know what I mean? Like, who is out there checking your mental state? So here I am thinking about this right now, man. Should I start a support group? How do I go about starting a support group? Do I need to learn how to deal with people, how to deal with, individual one-on-one, how to deal with people in a group? I am not experiencing that. Like, yeah, I might be reading book about, psychology and psychiatrists and physicians, which essentially are doctors, all of them, and, going through different emotions and this and that. But I am not qualified or experienced to do any of that. So now I'm like, do I take on a counseling course on TAFE? Do I take a course on how to act and how to be, when I'm dealing with a group of people, how to take on every single person's emotions and what they're dealing with, without without any judgment, without making them feel bad, without making them feel, there's a lot of thought going in me right now, but I feel like that is the path that I'm slowly getting to be, man. I think a support group is going to be beneficial and it's going to be bigger than me because if I was to start it and I help people and then they also feel like they want to help more people and then that'll just grow by itself, man. Wow. So I'm here thinking about it. Like, do I call it out to the unit? I mean, I've already started it. You know what I mean? At the beginning of this podcast, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was like, I want to help people by sharing my experiences. Here I am. First person came to me now. And now I'm being put in this position where it's like, do I chase it and get more people involved? Do I chase it and help more people? Bro, fuck. Aubrey Marcus, when I used to listen to his early days of his podcast, he would always end it with para el bien de todos, man. And that's in Spanish. Para el bien de todos, which means for the good of all. And I think every day, man, every day we should be striving to help everyone. Just like he used to say, bro, for the good of all. Wow. But yeah, so that has been my thoughts lately. I'm just checking the time because I don't want to be too much spending on that. But I mean, yeah. So who knows? Maybe next week. I'm definitely gonna be meeting up with Benji. Hopefully sometime this week. Fingers crossed, because I know he's gonna start his treatment next week. So I definitely want to be there to support him. The last couple of days I haven't been so much. He has messaged me asking me about my oil, but I haven't been able to reply to him as much, mainly because life is happening to me, and I've been out, man. I've been out. So that essentially what happened on Monday for me, and now let's just fast forward a few more days after that. I had my mate's wedding. Wow, my mate from primary school, man. So I'm talking about like 15 years ago at least, man. That I knew my mate Andre married his wife, Natasha, man. And wow, so that was on Friday night. We traveled out to, let's say, a beach house on Thursday in Avalon Beach, which is about an hour from where I am, Sydney, Northern Beaches. So instead of I stay at a place for essentially 4 days, 3 nights in Avalon Beach with a few mates. I think we had 8 people in the house, and holy shit, that was so good, man. And wow, it was so good being together with my mates and all that shit, man. Fuck. Um, but let's just go to the wedding because I feel like I want to say something first. I always love hearing best man speeches and just the speeches that you get at the wedding because they they're gonna talk about the bride, they're gonna talk about the groom, and whoever's saying the speech, it's gonna be saying good things, funny things sometimes. Most of the time is funny things, but just good things, man. And every time I go to a wedding, which I haven't been to too many, I always pay attention and listen to those speeches, man. And I try to be like, how would I feel if this speech is about me? And they just make me feel so good. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was speaking to Rosa, which is one of my mates. She was sitting next to me, and I was like, "Fuck, I love hearing, best man speeches because it just cheers me up. It makes me feel so good." And like, I wish I could hear this from my mates and how good I am and how great I am, like all the time, like once a week. And then that goes back to me spending time with my mates because we went out to this holiday house and we spent there for 4 days with 7 of my mates, my close mates. Fucking had a good time. We all had a few drinks. We all had fucking good chats, and it just makes you feel good, right? Like hanging out with your close mates, them telling you how good you are. Essentially, spending time with your tribe, and I think that's what something I should emphasize thing, man. Spending time, even if it's one day, even if it's an hour with your tribe, it can be so beneficial for ourselves. But then let's just take it onto the opposite of that, right? Why do we look for not validation, but why do we look for that externally? Like, why do we need someone else to tell us how good we are to feel good about ourselves? Right? Because hanging out with our tribe, speaking to our mates, if we go out to dinner, go out to lunch, we catch up, we tell them what we're getting up to, they tell us what we're getting up to, we tell them, you're doing amazing, that's fucking so good, keep it up. They tell us the same thing. We feel good about each other. We go out and, continue out throughout our weeks, and we just feel good because we just had someone tell us that. But why do we need to, why does it need to come from someone else? So I watched this video recently by Julian himself. Is the YouTube channel. It's on YouTube. It's called Stop Chasing a Specific Person and Do This. Essentially, the first 3 minutes, he talks about emotional masturbation. Funny term. But essentially, it is emotional masturbation. Like, why do we need to get something from someone else to make us feel good? Why don't we just do it ourselves? And I guess that's why the word is emotional masturbation. So it's hard to know how to do it, but it's not hard to be self-aware when you feel like you need that someone else to tell you things, because there's like sometimes, in like most of the time in our lives, man, we're so out of our heads, we're not in our heads anymore. Like sometimes you wake up and you feel depressed and you feel like, I need someone to make me feel good. Do you know what I mean? Like I need that external person to come in and be like, you're okay. Everyone goes through this shit. You'll be all right. You're just having a tough day today, but tomorrow will be much better. Why do we need that? We don't. We essentially don't. And that's why the emotional masturbation comes along. Stop looking for someone else to do that to you. Do it to yourself. And once you're self-aware about that and you're like, wait, okay, why am I thinking about that I need that someone else to make me feel good when I can do it myself? And, there's probably ways out there to make you feel good, right? Like, think about it. Like, what makes you feel good? Endorphins? Bro, like, if you actually think about it, our bodies are full of chemicals. Our feelings come from different chemicals that are being distributed, that are being put out from our brain into our bodies. So, okay, so let's think about endorphins, right? So you wake up, you feel like shit. Instead of looking for, I don't know what other word it could be instead of validation. And instead of looking for that love from someone else externally, love yourself. How can you do that, right? And there's heaps of other, like there'll be so many ways. I'm just going to give you a simple example because I know that endorphins is going to essentially make you happy because essentially it's just all chemicals that get released in your brain. And how do you get endorphins out? Go for a workout, go for a walk, go for a run. There's so many different ways. You can go to Google and find out how to release endorphins in my body and find out how. And then do them. Do those things. Go for a run and then see how it makes you feel. Go for a workout. Go for a walk. Go for a swim. Do things that you actually enjoy, man. Like I enjoy playing FIFA. If I wake up feeling sad, and if I say to myself, I cannot be happy until someone else loves me, that is just not the right way to think about it, right? Fucking go, I would turn on PlayStation, play a game of FIFA. If I win, endorphins get released. I feel happy. If I lose, it puts me in a worse it puts me in a worse mood. But look, that's just one example on how you can essentially emotionally masturbate yourself. So instead of chasing it out there, instead of looking for someone to make you laugh, another thing, right? Making you laugh. Like, what do you need someone else to make you laugh? Like, why do you go? Like, you don't need to. You need to have that self-awareness to know that all you need is yourself. And once you do that, Julian explains it as well. Like once you know that you can emotionally masturbate yourself. I know this fucking sounds weird, but let's just go with it because I don't know if there's any other words to explain it or even any other way for you to actually remember it, right? Because I could use, I guess, different words, but are you going to be able to remember? Probably not, man. So, yeah, like, like if I'm feeling sad and I want to laugh, find out ways on how I can make myself laugh and think about it in different ways. You know what I mean? Not just about you feel sad, you want to feel happy, but think about it anything like it's emotionally, and then try to break it down, man. Because like I was saying, like essentially all of our emotions comes from our brains, and most of the time it's because chemicals are being released into our body. Oh wow! I can't believe that light just died, man. That actually survived pretty long, and now I definitely need another light. So I'm gonna have to find that charger, hopefully for next week. Okay, so I think those are the three topics that I had written down, though, that I wanted to talk about. I will bring Benji into into the podcast essentially at one point, because yeah, I want him to come in and share his story. I can't believe I spoke for 3 hours, but fucking so good. And yeah, that thought about me starting a support group, it's still in my head. I feel like it will do good, bro. And hopefully by me putting this out here and out there, I am also being more aligned, more in tune, and putting it out to the universe. So it's all gonna essentially come together and maybe put into fruition, man. Fruition, because all I'm doing is planting seeds, bruv. Everywhere I go, all I do is plant seeds, and all I need to do is just water it every now and then. Man, that support group once a week. We get to meet every Thursday night at 7 p.m. and people come. And I guess because of COVID, it's going to be a bit hard at the beginning, but maybe later on it'll be much better where we can all come together, even if it's just four of us, and we can talk about what we're going through and everything in between, and how going through cancer is making us feel, because it's hard, man. Like, yeah, it's so fucking hard. Like, just death is hard, bro. Like, thinking about death, it's a big topic, and we don't talk about it as much. Like, we all get so shied away from it. Like, no one, likes to have a conversation about death, but it's fucking natural. We're all gonna fucking die, whether you like it or not, man. Like, we're all going to die. I hate to break it to you, but unless you might be like Elon Musk and a multi-billionaire and have enough money to maybe able to get your consciousness out of your fucking brain and put it into AI, or store it somewhere, we're all eventually gonna die, man. And I guess most of us don't have to think about it because we're not put into a position where we have to think about it. And like I said, going through cancer is something that it's definitely going to make you think about death. And yeah, so if I can be there, or if I can be here for other people to open up and tell them that, whatever you're feeling, it's okay, bruv. I've been through it. All these other people are going through it. Have that emotional support. I think that'd be good. And it's funny because it contradicts from what I said at the end, which is emotional masturbation. But I guess that just comes into maybe into different type of topics, not specifically, facing death or like being put in a position where it's really, really hard to find someone that can relate to you, kind of thing. Because I guess someone has to be going through chemotherapy or cancer to be able to relate to you. And yeah, man. So I feel like that's definitely something I want to do. And then, like I said, hopefully by me talking about this, I'm putting it out in the universe. Man, if you are listening or if you are watching and you are someone that is affected, or if you know someone that is affected from cancer, that or is going through chemotherapy, and you feel like they need someone to talk to, man, don't even like they definitely need someone to talk to, because no one should be going through this alone. So if you do know someone, or if you are that someone, just fucking reach out. send me a message somehow. I'm trying to think at how. I do know if you go to my YouTube and if you go to more info, you have my email address. You can reach out to me there. I do have a Telegram group. You can add me there and then, say, hey, what's up? Then you can add me into a private chat. Just put a comment down below. Tell me what the fuck's going on. Or just, yeah, put a comment down below. Tell me how we can reach each other, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, essentially, I just want to go help as many people as we can, and just to wrap it all up and to end it in something, because like I always like to end it in something that I'm giving back to my viewers. Right? Don't go don't go out. I mean, be self-aware to know that you don't always need to look for that external thing. You don't always need to look for someone else to tell you that you're doing okay. You don't always need someone to make you laugh. You do not always need someone else to make you happy. You can do it all yourself. Okay. You know what though? I did this on my first podcast and I never continued it on, but I think we should do it continuously, do it all the time, which is just deep breathing, man, which is just having 5 breaths, man. So if you're watching this, or if you're listening to this, come join me. All I'm going to be doing is taking five deep breaths, breathing in from the nose, breathing out from the mouth. So breathe in fully, breathe out fully, 5 times. And you know what? I've been doing these specifically every morning, and also places that I go to that are new to me. So I'll go to a beach I've never been to, just do these 5 deep breaths. Every morning as well, I do it because sometimes you wake up and you're like, "Fuck, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that," and you wake up really anxious because you've got a whole day ahead of you and you need to do work, you need to do that. But if you can just calm yourself, calm your mind, calm your body, be more in tune with yourself, you can get through it all, man. So I'm just gonna put the mic down and I'm gonna just breathe in 5 times, man, and you can join in yourself. Wow, I can just say I feel much relaxed, so much calmness. All right, guys, I hope everyone out there who's listening or watching is having a fantastic or lovely day or night, whatever time it may be that you're watching this video. And I hope that you found something that you've learned or something that you can use in your life on this podcast. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.